All right, I'm going to be talking about Uselessware. Uselessware is, I don't know if it's a real term or not, but it should be. And I'd like you guys to invest some time in Uselessware in the future. It's completely up to you. So an introduction to Uselessware, what is it? Uselessware is probably exactly what you want it to be, but it's taking yourself a little less seriously. It's having fun with code, and it's really just making something entirely useless because you like to program and you like to try new things out. So I like to set some ground rules and say that it solves a problem that no one wants solved. It's usually funny. It's better when it's funny, but it doesn't have to be. Try to pick something that you've never done before, and have a lot of fun, and then pimp it on Twitter afterwards. And people retweet the hell out of joke libraries, and they don't care about the stuff you actually work on all day. But it's important because you can learn a lot, and other people can learn a lot. It's a good way to get into the space. It's a good way to learn how to even manage issues on GitHub, even though they're joke messages and all that kind of stuff. So I'm totally serious in that one of the best things I ever did was release a Uselessware library, and it kind of just bumped me up into this group of people who was committing code and taking contributors, even though it was all entirely false. But above all, Uselessware is all about taking yourself not quite as seriously. We're writing code. We're not necessarily solving world hunger. I mean, you can solve world hunger via code, sure, but we don't need to get so heated all the time, and we can have some fun with our code. So I'm going to go through a brief history of some Uselessware that I've seen. The first one being Hello World. Pretty useless program. It's kind of a historical example. It first showed up in 1974. It does absolutely nothing you want it to do. It's not very funny, but it's educational. It really helps you kind of like, it's that first step into grasping a language or a framework or anything like that. And so that's kind of the whole reason why Uselessware is a good idea, because it gives you the same Hello World type advantage to whatever you're trying to learn. Next one, it's not actually historical, but it's hilarious. So I put the Shakespeare language. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Shakespeare language, but it's Shakespeare-style text that actually parses out as a program. So I'll switch over to a Hello World example in Shakespeare lang real fast. Let me full screen on this. Not launch iTunes. Either or, full screen, iTunes. All right, I guess I'm out of order. Here's Hello World in Shakespeare lang. Romeo, a young man with a remarkable patience. So all of this actually parses out, and you run that in the command line, and it actually prints out Hello World. So that's your entirely useless. But can you imagine if you were the person, like, wouldn't it be hilarious if we could get Shakespeare-style text to parse into a language, and then you learn how to parse text, you learn how to do free context grammars, you learn how to write all that kind of stuff to make this work, and be so, I mean, you've got to have a lot of tolerance in something like this. So the amount that these people probably learned is immeasurable. So I'll move, oh, that's not how that works. 3. All right, other examples of that are lol code. If anyone's ever seen lol code, it's just, hi, ICANN has a variable, and then you set the variable that way. And there's like Python, and so it's, you add the like in between, like give me a variable. It's pretty good. This actually I think got bumped up, but I might as well talk about it since it's here. The best part about Uselessware is the joke websites you get to make along with them. These only kind of have some Uselessware on them, and I'll show some more in a little bit. But I made partofhtml5.com. This is what is partofhtml5.com. It's just like a subdomain software. And this is like when everyone was like, is such and such part of HTML5 geolocation? And so like is your mom part of HTML5, right? Like I encourage everyone to do this because it makes my day, and I guess I keep doing that. So yeah, check that out. HTML5 rocks is a good site to learn HTML5 from. And then of course, like if anyone's seen slides.html5 rocks, so like HTML5 rocks is the Google page. So there's slides HTML5 rocks, this like sweet thing that everybody's using these days, and it teaches you it. The better slides.html5 rocks, it's with a 0, slides.html rocks. I don't have a large imagination. Also, there's HTML5 socks. There's HTML5 other words that rhyme with rocks, too. So some examples of Uselessware libraries. Someone will get that in like 10 minutes. So Adam Sontag's probably in the audience somewhere. Way in the back. He recently put out a beautiful Uselessware library that I had already decided to do this talk, and I was very happy he put it out. So boilerplate is a boilerplate library for making boilerplates. So we can look at the source real fast of boilerplate, if I can get there. Here we go. So he has a README, which is really the entire project, obviously. Uselessware doesn't have to be big. I don't know if that was a thing. It just has to prove your point. And that's one of the best things about it is that you can actually prove some really great points. So how do you use it? You fork the repository, you edit the README, you wouldn't want this in there. You substitute in your project's name, do all the work, give Adam credit, and preferably use the word excellent. Get rid of everything before here, and then sub in your project's name. It's beautiful. It's a perfect example of Uselessware. And it actually gently kind of points out the fact that maybe boilerplates, people shouldn't take them so seriously. Hey, this is a good starting point maybe, and you shouldn't worry about the things that you hate and then yell at Paul Irish for putting in a script loader into the HTML5 boilerplate. Like, he doesn't care. Textaline Centaur is, I think, one of my favorites in recent time. I considered not putting this as Uselessware because I totally already use it on all my websites. But it's exactly what it sounds like. Quite to the T. Textaline Centaur, you have a block of text, and then you can press the button down here, and it becomes a centaur. Very beautiful. There's Ruby gems, and I think someone's working on an NPM package for this as well, so no worries. And the best part is you can go into the code for this, and let's see, the Centaur.js file. So here's your pattern matching. Hey, that's kind of cool. If you ever need to do like JavaScript text pattern matching, that's actually kind of a nifty way to do it. And then it has this stuff. And the best part is he actually does a feature test for Textaline Centaur, just in case it ever shows up in the real spec. Which I talked to Brendan, and not that he has anything to do with that spec. Go2.js is a library. This is my foray into Uselessware, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's Go2 in JavaScript. It's a joke, but a lot of people didn't get that it was a joke because I kind of used a lot of tongue-in-cheek. It was right when PHP was adding Go2 to JavaScript. So here's a simple example: is you just go back and forth from this label to this loop, and 292 times, and then it creates the URL of this link, which is stupid. And then here's like this crazy example of people like jumping all over the place. I think my favorite line in here is also somewhere in here it says, oh yeah, because there are no variables passed into the function, you can't jump in and out of a function because if you're a real Go2 power user, you probably don't use functions anyways. Which probably still hold by that. Someone on Hacker News told me once I wrote that when I put it up on Hacker News that they wish I would get hit by a bus. So yeah, malice follows you for your Uselessware. Here's EvilJS and EvilCSS, a library that I've had the pleasure of committing to. Here's some examples. They changed the native JavaScript's very extensible language. So let's change ceiling to always return 42. Max returns min. Min returns infinity. Pow returns pow, pow, pow. Random, I don't even know, it returns a random character based on a random number. Round is obviously the square root. Pi is 3.2. That one would get me, I think. I actually added, there's one in there too that's if you have caps lock mode, or I guess 2 uppercase, that's the function 2 uppercase. I actually made it emulate as if you held shift down instead of actually doing uppercase, so numbers become symbols, and like colons are wrong and all that stuff, so it's just barely wrong. I thought it was good. Thunderhub was one that was like last week. Rezig put up Thunderhub, and it's a GitHub repo that he has another app that will add anyone that you want as a committer. I don't know if you guys have committed yet, but like obviously the first commit was like add more ASCII penises. And then someone did. Like Isaac's like added in like an npm module for it and everything, right? So it's obviously the gutter of of everything that is like terrible and awesome about community engagements, but it's awesome. It's totally useless. It's just a fun thing that everyone did. VaporJS is a library that Thomas Fuchs and I put out at JSConf EU, and it's a 0-byte micro framework. Has 100% test coverage. It's really, really awesome. I encourage you to use it. It uses a lot of the native stuff in JavaScript. It's 0 lines of code. It's one of the most followed libraries on GitHub. We've been working tirelessly on version 2. And one of the best things about it is now anytime someone tells me, oh, well, did you see Dojo's new selector is 310 micro nanoseconds faster than jQuery's, and then I tell them that Vapor's selector engine has never had an error. So my challenge to you is to write your own and do something fun. Obviously, VaporJS took us 5 minutes to think of drunk and 1 minute to push to GitHub and a long time to read the tweets. So do something similar, have fun with it, learn something new, like use some node library you never have, and put up a funny website for it so we can all see it. And then I have a special announcement that actually we're pushing a security update to VaporJS. As of today, it's a critical update that you need to get. We also have 100% code reduction size, 100% backwards compatibility, 100% test coverage. So grab that today if you're using it in your sites. And also, we have a new way to include VaporJS. Rather than put in the empty script tags, if you inline it, you can actually, with HTML5, you can not even include the script tag altogether. It's just implied inclusion. And that's all. So show me, tweet me your libraries or whatever, and maybe I'll put together some canonical resource for Uselessware. And have fun. Take yourself less seriously.